Hi everyone, this is Irek. You're welcome to this tutorial. In this video, let's look at section views in Revit. Section views are traditionally live codes through the building model. They can be generated using the section view tool from the quick access toolbar or the view tab. You can place section lines in plans, elevations and other section views, but in this video we are going to be looking at some special properties that are available for sections that help you create drawing just the way you want it. But just before we get started, I'd like to ask you to go ahead and subscribe to this channel for more Revit tips. Like this video so that more people can see and benefit from it. And if you have any question, leave it on the comment section below. Let's begin. Alright, here we are in this level 1 floor plan. If you look at my project browser, you're going to see it highlighted there. And to begin with the section line, we're just going to go to my quick access toolbar and select it, or the next place you can get that is under the view tab. You see section and you place the section anywhere. Section lines can be drawn either horizontally or vertically, or it can also be diagonal depending on your choice and what you want to review from your model. But in this case you're just going to leave it at the horizontal line, so the second click will establish that. Now the section line has two graphics, the head and the tail, which are also subject to change. For example, if you want to change it or see more properties of it, once you select the section line and you come to the properties panel, go edit type, you're going to see here under the graphics you see callout tags, and the radius of it here by default is 3 millimeters, and you can change that as well to maybe 2 millimeters or something depending on your choice, and that's for the corner radius. And then for the callout head you can see that, or you can also explore more options. Maybe you just put it to none, but here I don't really need to change it. I'm going to leave it like that, and then you say okay. Then for the section tag here you can actually see the section head and the section tail. You can actually change this section head and tail. Looking at this, you see different kinds of options. You can see for section tail you see M-tail field, and then you see section head field, name and all of that. So it's all up to you, but I don't really have any need for this. I prefer it the way it is, where I have the arrow on the head and then I just have the dash field line on the tail. Now what that is basically talking about is, let me say okay, it's basically talking about is this arrowhead and then this. And if you actually don't like any of those, and so you can just go to insert if you want something different from that and say load in family. Now inside your library you can just go annotations. Now under the annotations you can explore more of that. Here we have section head. Alright, if I click you can see how it looks like on the thumbnail and all of these. So each and every one of them you want, you can decide to load it into the project. Now if you select this and I say edit, you can also come to your section tag here and click on it, and you come to the section head. You look for the newly loaded one, if you can remember what the name is all about. You can see it changes to something different, but I don't want to use this. I prefer what I had before, so let me go back. It is subject to change, it all depends on you. And again, if you don't want to go too far in trying to change or explore it, you have this here, this arrow here. You can change it by selecting this arrow. Alright, if you want heads on both sides you can do that. If you don't want that, you can also pick the dash just the way it is. Here the same thing. If you want the head to be on this, the tail to be on this part and the head to be on this part, you can do the same. So let's leave it this way. Now, in order to view the section we have cut, all you have to do in this case is to double click on the arrow and it takes you straight to this place. Now, if I change the visual style to shaded, you can see what we have done there. The next thing I want to explain to you about this section box also is that if you look at this, you see something that looks like a zigzag along the lines is right on this part, is also on this part. Now, what is the job of that? If, for example, you need to cut this section into two different parts, this thing is there to help you. All you have to do is just to place your cursor. The lines appear there, so once you click on any of them, you have splitted this section view into two. Now you can drag this to whichever position you want, and you can also drag this to whichever position you want. Now you might be asking, what is the need for such tool? Actually, people do designs for different purposes. If, for example, the design you're making is for journal purposes and you need to copy and paste certain views on the journal, that's where this tool comes in handy. So you can split it and then paste it there so that somebody can see and understand what you are describing theoretically by your section. Now, let's move on. I am going to select this and then just drag this to this point and it connects back together. Now the second thing I want to explain here is that this section line, if you select it, you're going to see something that looks like a zigzag form. Actually, what that thing means is that you can split this segment into two. By just clicking on it, you can break the lines. Like I click on it. Alright, here, rather than just break the lines, I have it as dotted lines, and that's because right here on my edit type, if I go to my section tag and then I click on section tag, right here where I have broken section display style, here you can see it as continuous. Let's just go as gap and say okay. You can see we just have something different. All right, so what I'm trying to explain is that by clicking on that, you would notice that the section line just split into two, and with this drag point you can actually drag it to whichever point you want and drag this down that way. So the reason you can split this is if it's obstructing your other annotations like your dimensions and the rest of it, this is the best way. So let's move on. If somehow at the end of the day you don't need it anymore, all you have to do is just drag it from this drag point and join it together. It links back again. So that's the second thing. Now the third thing I would like to show here is that here also you have this tool here called split segment. All right, and in case you need to split the segment, a particular segment, and show something different, so you can make use of this tool. But let's demonstrate what I mean. But first of all, let us style our view so we can have an idea of what I'm talking about. So here I have this section view, and then here I have this level 1. Now if I go to my view tab, I can tile these views. So I bring this and then bring this close. Now right here, maybe I also need to include the level 2 so we can see what is playing out on the level 2 right there. This is the level 2. Now under the level 1 here, you could see that the section line cuts across the staircase, and you can see the staircase, and on this other side it was kitchen cabinet, and then you could see this washing machine standing right here, which you can see here. All right, so say for instance I don't want to cut this segment through the staircase and I want to show this dining. I select the section line and pick the split segment, and then I split it at any point, maybe at this point. Alright, so splitting that allows you to be able to move one segment, alright, to the point where you want, while the other segment reveals what exactly you want it to reveal as well. Now it's either you are moving this part or you return this and move this part depending on what you want, but I want to I want to move this part, so, and I place it here. So you're going to see the line go that way, come, and then go that way also. So right here now, you can see from the ground floor, if you see, we're now seeing the dining. We can see this curtain here, and then we can also go to the upside and see that we have cut across the bed down there, and then for this other part, our section remains the same, cutting across the kitchen cabinet and across this other bed on the bedroom down here. So if you also check, even the roof is also affected. Of course, the roof on this part is not the same as it should be on this line also. And then if you don't need it again, you can just select it and then move the line back to the position. Once you get to the back to the position, it snaps. So what you just have to do is to click anywhere outside to undo that. Now that is it. So the next thing I also want to show you here is when you select the section line there, you are also going to notice that your section box is also highlighted. On this other view, you're also going to notice that the section line is also selected on the level 2. You are also going to notice that on the level 1, where you have the section line, you have this extent line, or you can call it the view depth. All right, so you can actually move this to any point. Now this will determine how far you see on your section. If for instance I move this into the building up to this point, you could see how it affects the section A here. So you can now see that part of the building behind, we can see what is happening there. Even the roof has been chopped off from behind, and the only portion of the roof left is just somewhere within this range. All right, but if you want to see exactly how it is up to the end of it, all you have to do is to drag it to that point and review everything that is happening within there. And again, if you want to move this, you just move it and place it at any point where you want. Let's place it here and drag this backward. You can also adjust this. So I return to my tab views. Now I am going to place another section line on the vertical axis. So I cut it at this point to this point. And then I can also use this arrow to change the direction. This now is on the vertical axis, and then I want to see exactly what it looks like. So all we have to do is to double click on this arrowhead. You can just go and turn the visual style into maybe shaded, and it will help you also to look at the staircase and other things, how they are positioned. All right, having this section at this point, you can also click here. It will also take you back to the other view of it. So all these are just shortcuts that helps you access what you're doing very fast, instead of coming to your project browser and then going to section, building sections. You click on this, you can see our section 1, and this is our section 2. So to save you the energy of going here to do all of that, you just double click on this and then you have it. So I go back to my floor plan. Then the next thing I want to show here is that even your section lines can be turned off and becomes invisible. I come to my view tab. Under visibility stroke graphics override, you click on that. Now you go to annotation categories and look for section. This is sections. All right, if you uncheck this and say okay, it disappears, and then you can check it back and it will reappear again. And the object style also can be worked on. For instance, we have the object style here, annotation object. If you go to your sections, you can also decide to manipulate the section line. Like right here, you have this section line, and then if you drop this down, you see broken section line. All right, the line weight of that section line is 1, which happen to be the least of all the line weight. So you can change it to whichever thickness you prefer, but I just have to leave it as 1. And then the line pattern there is dots. if you drop this down, you can see different options as well. So we are just going to leave it the way it is. And then here again for the color, it's black. If you click here, you have the option to change the color to whichever color you prefer, all up to you. Now I can say apply and say okay. Or if for any reason you choose to hide the element or unhide it, you can also do that by just selecting it and you hide in view element. So, and if you want to bring it back, all you just have to do is to click on this and then you click on your section, unhide elements, and return back here to finish it. It comes back. So that's it. Now again, what I want to show you here is if you select this section line, and let me adjust the extent, and you come to your property panel. Under your property panel here, you're going to notice that sections are divided into 3 categories. Number 1, you have the detail section, you have the building section, and you have the wall section. All right. Say I select this right now, you will notice that the fill of the arrowhead is no longer there. It has disappeared, but that's not what we are up to in this video. All right, so that's for the wall. Then for the detail section, you can also see that for those who sometimes will prefer to call out a wall and show the layers and the properties of that particular wall, you could see that the arrowhead here also have changed to something else. We will go back to our building section, which is where we are. Alright, then the next thing I want to show here is the far clip of this section. Now let me move this particular section line to this point of staircase. So I'm just going to put it on a tile mode under my view tab. Then I come tile view. For this far clip now, what I just have to do right now is to select this line. And then if you come to the property panel here, you're going to see here we have the far clipping. So you have clip without a line, and then for far clip offset you can see the extent of the far clip. Now or I come to this point and see this range and drag it to any point, just keep your eyes on the far clip extent. You're going to see that the value keeps changing, and if I bring it further to that point, you're going to see from 7544.5 is going to be 4328.9. So what this far clip without line is all about is if I move this from this point, I bring it to this point, there is no line guiding that cut. That's what that is all about. Now if you want a line guiding the cut, all you have to do is to click here, and here you could see 3 options. No clip. Here you see clip without line, and this is clip with line. If you want this, you can say okay. You would notice that the clip already has created a line on that particular cut. Now if I move it back further, everything comes back to normal. And as for the crop region being this line, you can also uncheck that from this point. Now for this, instead of just presenting it this way, there is still something you can do to present it in a better format than just like this. Alright, in this case, I'm just going to go to my 3D default view, which is here on my project browser. So I select it and then I duplicate. So here is the 3D default view. After duplicating it, you can rename it. So I'm just going to call this section A ISO view. Just click anywhere outside. So we have this duplicated copy. Then the next thing is to go to this tiny arrow on my view cube and then you click it. So by clicking it, you can see view to orient. So we go to sections and then I choose section 1. So we have here as section 1. Let me expand this a bit. So in this case, I'm just going to go back to the arrow and drop it down. You choose orient to a direction, so I can choose southeast isometric view. And then if you must present it, definitely it's not going to be with the scope box, so you select this and right click. You can hide in view. Views like this will help you to see more about the section, which in my opinion is the best way to present it. Now with this, we've come to the end of this tutorial, and if you haven't already, consider subscribing to this channel. If you like this video, hit the like button so that more people can see and benefit from it. And for more about the isometric view, I'm going to leave a link below the description box of this video where I did an extensive teaching on isometric view. Do well to refer to that video after this, or you can see it on the card above. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.